Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the old family farm where we're here on the day 2 of spring with Delores Flofflebotham. We have completed the first day and Delores is doing very well for herself. Quick overview of the map. I've also, as you may have noticed, have installed the third person camera mod thing. So we can follow Delores around. We've got most of the starting farms ploughed. Or should we say we've got most of the starting fields ploughed. In fact, we've got all the ones around here done. We've also got them combined where we need to. Resized where we need to. Like, for example, I haven't resized field 6. But I have, you may have noticed, put in some of the placeable hedge decoration item to separate and define fields. And what goes really well with this is these hedges actually have collisions, so you can't drive through them, which could also be an absolute bone of contention for me as I get into this series, because obviously when we reach the bottom of the fields, trying to turn equipment around when you can't drive through the hedge is going to be quite annoying. I am going to have to, unfortunately, because of how I've ploughed the fields together and extended them and changed them and created them, I am going to need, unfortunately, to get the lime spreader out again. So although in the first episode I said I was done with the lime spreader for this year, the first year, and we're not. We're not done with it at all. So as you can see, field 7's got much bigger. It's a much bigger field. Over here, I've placed the BGA. There does seem to be a bit of a lump in the train there. Not sure why that is. But then there's a lump here as well. I think this thing's been deforming terrain and making lumps. I may have to fix that, especially this area here, quite quickly. Let's do it. Flatten that out. And also over here where we've got, we might not be able to flatten it out too much around here because of how the game works and stuff. Then obviously we just need to then put the grass back. Not worried about overspilling onto the path a little bit. There we go. That's flattened that. It's also sort of flatten this. It's a little bit hard because there seems to be a bit of a block. I struggled to paint around this building because of the way the collisions work. But anyway, we can come up here with bales if we want to do bales and chuck them in there. Although I think I have modified this particular mod anyway, so that actually you can just drive anywhere near this with a bale trailer with bales on the back and they'll get sold. You don't have to manually come up here and prat around putting them in the hopper. Obviously your main silage and stuff will go in here, and then somewhere there'll be a pipe, I'm assuming, over here for getting your digestate out. There we go. So I have added a BGA to the map. I do think it's important to have a BGA. We'll have a quick run back to the main farm. Sorry, the character does look really funny when you are using the third person mod and you're sprinting. It's like the animation can't operate fast enough. I've installed 2 sheep pens. However, at this moment in time, there are no sheep in them. These are part of the hot fillables pack. So there's going to be some sheep. I'm not really a big fan of these water tanks, by the way. I know they're reflective and the chrome and everything, but look, they're not even round. They've got horrible pointy edges, you know. Can you not make a round object in your 3D modelling program? Over here, I have combined fields 2 and 5. I ploughed right through the path, the road that runs through the field. So we're down here. One of the jobs I may do during the winter is remove these trees. If we get a lot of snow and I can't work the fields, I may get the tree cutting equipment out and remove these trees, because they make it very difficult when working the field in a north-south direction to turn around, because obviously you keep crashing into them, as I discovered when I was ploughing. And that way then, if I got rid of the trees, I could actually extend this field a little bit further, because then obviously we'd be able to turn around out here on the path anyway, so we'd gain a little bit of land. As you saw in the last video anyway, I've done the field 1, 4 and 9 all together to make one big field. And basically I'm over here now. I'm doing working on the next fields. Reset the offset. I don't know, I wish I could stop guidance steering adding offsets when I don't want it. One too many clicks. There we go. I can't remember. I don't think, no, I'm not ploughing with create fields on this point. Again, as I started this kind of late last night as it got dark in game, and I decided not to finish it. I figured we'd come in today, day 2, do a bit more ploughing, get all the rest of the fields ploughed. That includes fields 13 and 14 down at the bottom of the map, and then we'll quickly run round, get everything lime spreaded again to make sure that's all okay. We'll then be moving into third stage of mid-spring, I should say. One of the things I've also done, I've been down to this area down here of the map, and I've put in a yeah, it's this area over here. There is a cow pen and a pig pen for when I want to do cows and pigs a little bit later on. There is also a couple of DEF pumps. I've added a couple of places where we can buy DEF from. Cruise control. Delores, use your cruise control. And then obviously at the main farm here, I've put in a few extra buildings. I've put in some of the production buildings that we're going to use. I've put in another vehicle shed from the modding world pack, just to see if it does have issues when it comes time to snow in game, with snow appearing inside the shed. But it's a big shed that I can put obviously the harvester and that into. And then I've also put in a DEF storage tank right next to one of the sheds, so we can fill up all our vehicles that have a diesel exhaust fluid requirement on them. So we'll need a tanker, because obviously we'll have to go buy the DEF in bulk from one of the fuel stations on the map, and then we'll have to take it back to the farm, put it into the storage tank, and then we can obviously refill our vehicles up from there. As I say, I've got production buildings at the farm for making fertilizer, liquid fertilizer and herbicide, so we'll be making my own of that eventually, depending on obviously whether we can get the BGA working and providing us with lovely digestate to make the solid fertilizer, which is the bare minimum ingredient we need to make all the other stuff. Because obviously to make liquid fertilizer we need fertilizer and water, and to make a herbicide we need the liquid fertilizer and diesel fuel. Yes, I've changed the mod myself. It made no sense to me that you would make weed killer using fertilizer and liquid fertilizer. To me, you're just making a porridgey mess of fertilizer. If you combine liquid fertilizer and solid fertilizer, you're just making a porridge of fertilizer. However, by adding diesel, which, believe it or not, was something we used to use many years ago to kill unwanted weeds and grass and stuff on the golf course where I used to work. We used to go around and actually spray diesel. The red diesel, the agricultural diesel. We used to go around and spray that because it used to killed everything. So diesel was a great herbicide, and we obviously had it, you know, plentiful on the golf course for fueling all the tractors, vehicles, mowers, and everything. So we had it on tap. So I kind of used my own creative license there then to add the herbicide add it to the herbicide machine instead of solid fertilizer. Still keep the liquid fertilizer aspect. So the production chain that we're going to have to do is stuff that makes digestate. Take the digestate, then put it in the fertilizer maker to make solid fertilizer, and then distribute that solid fertilizer to the liquid fertilizer maker, the sprayer, and then to the herbicide production. Admittedly, right at the start, obviously, throughout this first year where we're kind of getting started and getting everything set up, we haven't got any crops yet, we haven't done any harvests, we haven't got any stuff in the silo. We will be buying all the stuff we use, pretty much. And then we'll, as I say, into year 2 of seasons, we'll start making our own stuff and becoming a little bit more self-sufficient. And then you never know, if we make enough of stuff, if we actually find we're making enough of the other stuff, we might be able to sell some of that as almost like a additional crop. You know, we've got excess herbicide and fertilizer and stuff, we might sell it. I'm sure there's people that would appreciate it. Obviously not on this map because we own all the fields, there are no other farmers. Right, I am just going to quickly extend this field another strip. Drop that on. There's room. What I will probably do as well is come down here in the winter and remove some of these trees as well, especially the ones behind us off the back of the field, because there's a lot of room back there. We could really extend and make this field much bigger. Much bigger, much badder. Yeah. Get the train tool out in a minute, tidy that up. Lose a little bit along the bottom edge of the field, sadly. Really a loss. Obviously do the top. we'll get this sorted out, straightened out a little bit later on. I like the fact that my plough is now completely dirty as well. Like it's completely run out of colour. There's a few trees here which are going to go as well, by the way. I'm going to enjoy chopping down and wood chipping a lot of trees on this map. Because again, you could then extend this field. You could add another couple of rows to the right hand side of the field, take it towards the path. And you could probably extend it a little bit down the bottom there. Admittedly, the map border does kind of get in the way, that little like 2D picture that he's got all the way around the outside. Don't know why map authors do that. Especially when you can clearly see he's got land beyond that. There's no need for the little sort of cardboard thing around the edge. It just looks naff. Especially when it's blurry and out of focus like it is. When you've clearly got, like I say, you've clearly got land beyond all this land over here. Why put in the fake land? Why put in that fake thing that goes around the outside of the map? We can still, you know, just leave it. We can't drive on that land. We'll reach a border, but it just looks a bit better than that. That just looks, to me, a little bit tacky. Does, doesn't it? Especially as you get closer to it now, it looks tacky. I'm not being funny. Why not? If you've got a map like this, why not let the players go right up to this edge of the map? You know? If we're working over here, there's a whole lot of stuff over there. A whole lot of ground. I know you've got mountains on it and stuff, but, you know, we've got the train tools. We could flatten the mountains. We could make some more fields. A nice little field here. There's a fuel station over here again where I have placed a DEF refill station, a DEF pump, so we can buy DEF from there, which, as I say, we will need to do. And then we can take that, put it on the put it in the tank back at the farm, so all our vehicles that use DEF can be refilled at the farm, the main farm anyway. I think it's very important to do headlands. Hit trees else. And then obviously we're going to need to start thinking and looking at what cedar or planter we are going to be using on this map. What we're going to go for. I've got a new mod installed this morning, which I've not used before, which may be worth a look at. Which would probably fit in nicely with the tractors and vehicles that we've got as far as the branding goes. And that's a bit of a sneak peek there for everybody. Right, I'm going to take a very quick pause in the video here at this point and bring you guys back when I'm done ploughing, and maybe once I've been round and done the lime spreading too. So I'll see you guys back here in a couple of moments. Okay, so I finished ploughing and lime spreading all the fields. We're now joining Delores back here at the store, where she's been making a few more purchases for equipment that we're going to need on the farm. So let's go round and see what she's bought and start transporting some of it back to the farm. So we have obviously got items that we're going to need in the not too distant future. So we've got seed, fertilizer, liquid fertilizer. We're going to be needing that. We've got a loading wagon as well to help us do straw collection, grass collection when the time comes. We've got a little 3.6 meter cedar stroke planter to plant crops, because obviously some of the fields are smaller and are going to be a little bit awkward to seed. So 3.6 meter cedar should do the trick. We've then got this 14 meter air seeder with a cart that tows behind it. I think that's actually spawned the wrong way around. That's going to be interesting if I can hook that up to that. That'll be a test in a second. To do, obviously, so the air seeder is just a seeder. It only plants grain crops. But it's going to be useful for doing the slightly bigger fields. And we decided to get another 8R tractor, this time with wheels rather than tracks. And this is the custom modding John Deere 8R. So no 3-point link on the front, fixed weight. Hold it out. We'll have a look at this air cart, because I've got a feeling that is parked the wrong way around. I'm feeling it won't hook up. Oh, it will. Will it? Knowing which one to get, because it comes in the store. It's available in several different flavours and variations. It's making sure we get the right combination for the right actual cedar, and I don't think I have, looking at this, because this is not attaching. Oh, it will attach. My crikey. And looking at this, it only seeds, it doesn't fertilise. Gonna be interesting. Anyway, let's run back quickly to the farm, because there's a couple of other bits and bobs we're going to need. yeah, quick look in the store. It's under Cedars. And this is the John Deere Air Cedar mod pack, which contains a 44-foot, 13.5 metre pull behind or pull between Cedar. And then you've got a 72-foot, 22.5 metre version, again, pull behind or pull between. And then you've got the tow behind air cart or tow between air cart. According to this, it is meant to take seed and fertilizer. And then you've got the tow behind 3-tank air cart. So maybe I'll get the option to fill it with fertilizer and stuff once I start to try and fill it. But anyway, we're going to grab the 7R because we're going to move that loading wagon. I've also bought for the farm, and this is something completely new as well, because we never had a truck on the first Let's Play series. So I've bought this lovely, nice big truck, which has got 8 wheels. We've got a big universal tanks, 100,000 litre tank on the back. That's probably a bit excessive, but it's going to come in very useful for doing the, bringing the DEF to the farm. Obviously, we've got the little tank in here for when we start doing the animals and stuff, for providing them with water. Some point there will probably be another tank purchased like that, much like we had on the original Old Family Farm Let's Play, which we can have configured to be a slurry digestate spreader. Anyway, why am I running back to the shop? I want the 7R because I want that loading wagon. Don't I? Another reason for going with the little 3.6 metre cedar planter is also so that obviously we can do seeding jobs, planting jobs using the 7R and the 6R, which obviously don't have tons of horsepower in comparison to the 8R that we have. There's obviously being able to equip the John Deere 8R. Now obviously it's the second part of spring. Tomorrow we'll see us starting to enter mid-spring. So depending on what the weather forecast is looking like and what temperatures are like, we may start to do some planting mid-spring, or I might actually wait and leave it until late spring. Do me planting in late spring when we're going to be guaranteed not to have any germination fails or anything like that. There's a building there, but I'm not parking the loading wagon in that building. Park it in the there's the other barn that I was on about previously. This can go in here actually. I'm gonna go grab the little tanker because I'm going to move those pallets of liquid fertilizer. I'm going to bring them up, I'm going to empty them into this, and then I'm going to bring them up, put them in the herbicide production building. And as I say, I'll be taking that truck to the fuel station, loading that up with DEF and bringing that back to the main farm. In the not too distant, far away future. Was a little bit awkward, I must admit, because I forgot, although you can buy lime in bulk on this map, there are no places on this map where you can buy seeds, fertilizer and stuff in bulk. So you have to buy pallets, transfer the stuff into something else, and then obviously take it and tip it into the proper storage back at the main farm. I'm probably going to need more liquid fertilizer than that. Oh, they're 2,000 litre tanks, but still. Going to need more than that, I'm afraid, kids. $8,000, 10,000, 12,000. We're going to have about 16,000 litres here. Might need one more pallet then. Then we'll have the same amount of liquid fertilizer going into that herbicide machine for doing the weeds. As we will have, I've already put some, no I haven't put any, I need to get diesel for it as well. Right, remember that. Right, we'll take this. Just going back to that cedar quickly. They are solid fertilizer. They're not liquid. They are solid fertilizer cedars, which makes them a little bit different from the John Deere DB planters that I have installed, which are a little bit too big for this map. They're a little bit too big in terms of their actual physical size. Which is why I'm not using DB planters on this map. But we'll be doing on my Fenton Forest one. Right, this is liquid fertilizer, so this has to go into this machine over here. I remember, right? And we need diesel because I've changed it. So ignore the pictures on the outside of the building. It does not take fertilizer, it takes diesel. And although I like these buildings using symbols, using hieroglyphics, it would be much easier if it was a text-based system, but not in the sense of like that thing up there, which is actually like a texture. It's a DDS file that someone's put on the map. So unfortunately you can't change that herbicide production, which is spelt horrendously bad and offends everybody who speaks English. Same with all the other buildings. You can't change that text without changing the DDS file within the mod folder, which is something I may do. However, it would be nicer if instead of, like I say, the hieroglyphics on the buildings to indicate fill types, it just had text, and that text was basically determined by what you have as the fill types. Because, like I say, on that herbicide production building, I have changed the fill type to be diesel, and the symbol hasn't changed to reflect it. Maybe you can do that by changing some of the coding in the mod. I don't know. I've not looked that closely at it. I'll be quite honest, when it comes to script mods, I'm a little bit not exactly up to speed on scripting. I don't do a lot of scripting. I don't understand it. I don't understand the Lua language, so it makes it hard for me to edit and change script mods. Gosh, this is going to take ages to fill up this diesel tank. Any fuel, any like liquid triggers that people put into maps, like these fuel pumps, any places where you can refill like water, like from water sources and stuff on maps. I kind of wish map authors would increase the fill speed from these things, because it takes bloody ages. Like I say, to fill an 18,000 litre tank of fuel, we're going to be here all blooming day. So while that's filling up, let's go back to the farm. Still a little bit left there, which is great. And this holds 4,000. These tanks hold 4,200 litres. How about fertilizer? Do they hold plenty of fertilizer? Possibly about the same. And maybe more. Maybe more fertilizer. Oh dear. I suppose that's one way to do it, to back it up and reverse it. Isn't it? Just grab a screenshot quickly for the old fumble nail. Right, we're at 94%? 100%? See if we can actually get out of here and back to our farm now. New tractors, of course. You always, because I'm using the same mod folder as my Fenton Forest series, we've got Courseplay installed, so Courseplay is going to tell me it wants to have that annoying little mini HUD thing activated on every vehicle. Although I'm not going to use Courseplay on this particular map, as I say, it will be needed on Fenton Forest 4X. Wow, this map is a bit tight and fiddly. Thing, like this Cedar, this air cart is a little bit temperamental when you're turning corners. Like it's got no brakes. Leave that one part there for a minute. I'll go find... Still filling up, look! This is still filling up. Right, we'll go grab the... In the meantime, we'll go grab the other Cedar from the store. We'll make sure that's got fuel and stuff in it, and fertilizer and seed and all that good stuff. Originally, I was going to get the, if we're going to Cedars, I was going to get the one that I made, which was my own mod. I was going to use that, which is the one I used on the last Old Family Farm series, because it's a 5.4 metre direct drill seeder that does fertilising and seeding. Also has a good speed at 12 miles an hour because it's powered. Bit like the Power Harrows. But we've got this bad boy. We're going to have this bad boy instead this time round. It's a little bit smaller. Obviously 3.6 metres isn't the most massively wide cedar in the world. But the good thing about seasons is when you're planting, you've got quite a bit of time. You know. In fact, you've got a lot of time when it comes to planting with seasons. A lot of the year. Right, that'll fill that up nicely. I remember on the previous Let's Play on the original Old Family Farm map without seasons, the very first version that was released, not the second, the version 2 of the map. Although I did a brief look at that map at the end of my last Let's Play series, I didn't actually switch to that during the series. I stayed on the version 1 map the whole time. This cedar was very nice. It was a nice cedar. I enjoyed using it, especially with the wild grass mod. There was a mod that let you plant grass on the ground. That's too big to fit in there. I'm buying all these tools. I might actually, so what I may do, I might park tractors. Might park tractors in that shed. So, slightly better cedar, but ultimately, we can park tractors in here, can't we? Some of them. Things like the 6X would park in here. Maybe the 7R you could park in here. Get away with parking in here. Then we could have the cedars and stuff in here. That little tractor there could park in there, I suppose. Although the bucket sticks out the front a bit. Could put the 6M in there. Still not finished. Right. Meanwhile, whilst we're still waiting for that to finish, loading up, we'll also drive over there and grab the DEF. Hopefully 1 tanker of DEF will be sufficient. Oh, I forgot, obviously, I don't have a road in here now, so I've got to come down here. Like I say, once I take out some of these trees in the next winter period, I can redesign the road system around the farm a bit to make it a bit manageable, to get some of the big vehicles dragged about a bit. We're going to be loading this up here. Go. Diesel exhaust fluid is filling. Yeah. So that's going to take a while too. That's not the fastest of things either. 75%. Oh dear. Well, I guess we're going to be sat here waiting for both of these to fill up. Honestly, if I wasn't trying to be super serious on this map and this Let's Play, I could have just bought the diesel from the actual refill point on the farm. But I kind of wanted to drive around and show you a bit of the map from tractor level. However, these lovely Texaco refill points are very, very slow. Also, some of the textures on the buildings are a little bit, when you get up closer to them, they don't look all that great, do they? They're a bit low quality, these buildings, the way they've been textured and detailed. It's a shame, because, like I say, I really enjoy playing on the map. It offers a nice small map for people who want to play a small map, use small equipment, small tools, small tractors, stuff like that. It's great for that. However, like I say, it does seem to take forever to fill up. Right. Yeah, I can see her putting her head down at this point and going, you know what? This takes forever to fill these things. Well, the good news is, Delores, that once you've done it once, especially the death one, you shouldn't have to do it ever again.
5 hours later.
There we go. 22,500 litre fuel costs. Right, off we go. Do. I think I've gone the wrong way. Oh god, now I'm stuck on these trees. Oh, that's never good. I keep going that way. I'm going to go down towards the area where I've got the pig and sheep pen placed. Which, by the way, I've now discovered since when I was doing the ploughing, the poles at that area, all the poles and telegraph poles, all the poles, telegraph poles and the wires attached to those poles in this area down here all have collision on them, which makes it really difficult to move tractors, because tractors are quite tall and they get stuck on the cables. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to be able to work that area, or what I'm going to use in that area to control the help me do the sheep and the pigs and stuff and provide to their needs, because a lot of the equipment I'm not going to actually be able to drive around that area because it's going to get stuck all the time on the cables dangling off the buildings, off the telegraph wires. It's not the same wires as these ones. These telegraph poles and wires are okay, they're quite high. They're the ones that are similar to the ones over on Field 8, except for some reason the author has not disabled the collision on those ones, on that bit of land, so that makes it really frustrating. I was struggling with the plough, getting the plough stuck, trying to drive around there because I made the wrong turn coming off of Field 14. Right, so the diesel goes in here. Along with the liquid fertilizer. Then when I turn this machine on, it should start making weed killer for us. In fact, actually, whilst that's unloading, Delores can turn the machine on. Plenty of herbicide for our sprayer. We will need more liquid fertilizer bought at some point. Unless I decide to buy some normal fertilizer, some granules, more granules, which I can load into a trailer for easy transporting. And I can bring the fertilizer granules down here and chuck them in here. We've got water in here already, so we could chuck the fertilizer granules in and start making some liquid fertilizer. Get a few litres of that built up. Obviously, this is the other shed I talked about putting down from the Modding Well mod pack. Lovely shed, lovely building, but I do think we're going to have issues in the winter with it, with snow going through the roof, because it doesn't have a snow mask. Back at the truck, still filling up. So thank you everybody who has joined in and watched today's wonderful episode of the Old Family Farm here with Seasons. I will be back again with another episode very soon, where we will be into either mid-spring or possibly late spring, depending how I decide to do the planting. So if you could go ahead now please and click that like button for me on the video to show that you've watched it and enjoyed it. If you've also got any comments, questions, suggestions or feedback you want to leave in the comment section down below, please feel free to do so. Also remember to share this video with whoever you see fit and wherever you see fit. And don't forget, if you're not doing so already, make sure you've clicked that subscribe button. That way you stay up to date and notified whenever I post new content to the channel. I've been CWATTYESO. This has been Delores Flofflebotham. This is the Old Family Farm map with Seasons. And it's goodbye for now.